Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. This one is a little bit special. This is a bit of a question and answer session, and it's mainly for you guys because I've got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you very, very much. Massive thank you to all of you. What we'll do is we'll get this Class 92 set up, go through the blurb, and then when we get going we'll do some question and answer stuff. We'll have a look at these wonderful reskins on this beautiful Class 92. So let's get set up to start with. Okay, so 92 wise, let's get... Oh, good morning driver and welcome to your train. You're taking over the delayed 1 Mike 16 Caledonian Sleeper from here at Carlisle. Call it Preston only, where you will hand over to another driver to continue the service to London. Oh, sorry. The train is currently running approximately 45 minutes late due to earlier signalling problems in the Edinburgh area. Please open the doors and set the train up ready for departure. Excellent, we can do that. So that gives us that time. Right, let's get Muskie in. You into neutral. Let's get GSMR on. Let's get... We've got our main lights on. Let's just get the upper headlight on. We want our instrument lights on. Headlights are how they should be. Perfect. The pantograph's up and we're on BRAC. Speed departing will be 20 miles an hour, so we can set that. We have line light, everything else is cool. Everything's set up, we'll have our temperatures on. I shouldn't have done this first. Chris did tell me this. I'm going to have to set the cab up again in a second. That one. That's just to switch the tail lights on. And then we need to go back to the 92 and start that over again. So not everything goes off, it just needs putting back in place. Computer will load back up. AWS reset, headlights on, instrument lights are on. Wicked. So you may have noticed what we were in on the back. There is a lovely Power Hall Class 90 there. Right, we're ready for departure. There we go. It's a big old train, so we won't give it the beans just yet. It's looking a little bit funny. A bit bleedy, isn't it? Might be something to do with the cab light being on. So, 1,000 subscribers. I was incredibly impressed. I've heard YouTube say this before, I never expected to get to this point. I mean, this was way above anything that I had hoped for. As I've said before, I started this all out when I was off long-term sick from work, wasn't in the best place, thought I'll do something to keep my mind busy. And this is what I did. Let's get that DSD off because we're going to be doing a lot of talking in this video. And yeah, started out like that. And I remember having 4 subscribers and being really pleased. I remember one of my first comments on my video was a guy that lived near Cambridge and was on his way to Norwich. That was the video I'd sort of done as well. It's been such a good laugh. I've met some really cool people. I've also had my fair amount of trolls as well. I think they come with any sort of internet activity these days, which is just, it's part and parcel to me. It is part and parcel. I've also had people pester for things. There's all sorts of things that come with doing this, but you know, the overall majority of everybody that does this is sound, and I've really bloody enjoyed it. So thank you. And that is a truly sincere, heartfelt thank you to all of you. To think that there are 1,000 people out there in this world that take their time to watch my videos and take the time to come back and watch my videos. I know what I'm like subscriber on YouTube. I'll probably watch someone for about 3 or 4 months before I'll subscribe. It's just how I do it. I like to make sure I really like their content before I sub. Just weird like that. Just waiting for it to come out of that neutral section. We'll go up to 75. So we can go up to, our maximum speed is 80 in this anyway at the minute, so we'll go, when we get up to 80 I'll start doing the questions and answers. We'll have a quick look at the train while we've got this nice little bit going on. So this is of course the Caledonian Sleeper, the Serco Caledonian Sleeper. It wouldn't be me doing a scenario for the 1,000 if it wasn't a Chris scenario. This is a CH scenario, it's a Chris Horsfield scenario. And it's not been the easiest one for him. It's not been the most stable thing he's ever made. We don't really know why. It was constantly, I've got the Brandon pack on, bugger. I was getting constant dumps with it to start with, but it isn't the way the scenario is written. It was actually to do with some sort of conflict in my Class 92 pack. So a full delete and reinstall of that, and we're rocking and rolling. So fingers crossed we should make it through this video without any dumps. They have been on the increase again with Train Sim as of late, and so is big stutter when it's loading in tiles. West Coast Main on over Shap for me, no horn because we're early in the morning. West Coast Main on over Shap for me has always been a pretty good runner for frame rate wise. It looks beautiful. It's one of those routes that looks beautiful even when it's not on full settings. It's a nice route. It's really well made. It's one of Keith M. Ross's scenario routes. Awesome stuff. Okay, let's stick this up to 80, and I'll start with. I'm just going to go in order on the Facebook page. I literally said I'd be recording in about an hour, and you guys managed to get, I think, about 25 questions. Some are quite similar, but we'll answer each one by one. Let me just get it up for you now. Excellent. Oh, my microphone all twisted round somehow. Don't know what's going on there. Hang on. That's better. Sorry about that. You might be able to hear me a little bit better as well now the way it is. Okay, so the first question is from Luca, and what is your favourite third-party add-on and why? Close call. There's a lot of questions like this on this, and I will answer them as best I can individually. Now, I don't think I could pin it down to one actual favourite thing. What could I? If it was just third party and I had to pick one thing that was amazingly good, tough question. I didn't look at these on purpose. I've just gone through and not really thought about them on purpose, so I can do it on the video. But it would be an Armstrong Powerhouse product. It would probably be the Class 90 pack or the 313. As a standalone third-party bit of DLC, so not like an enhancement pack or anything like that, but as a standalone third-party DLC, yes, it would be the 90 or the 313. If I had to pick one over the other, it'd probably be the 90 because it's slightly more versatile. but for scripting and liveries and features and everything, it's amazing. Both really good packs, but the 90 would just pip it at the post. The next one is from Charlie. Given the opportunity, would you become a train driver? In a heartbeat is the answer to that. I'm still currently in a talent pool for Greater Anglia and what used to be FCC. I'm sure the FCC one's gone. I've been in that talent pool for about 2 years. So what that means is I've applied plenty of times to be a train driver. I've done my assessments. I did them before the new assessments and failed the first time on the dot Bourdain test and then passed it the second time. But never actually got past that stage because they ended up giving all the jobs out internally. I then applied for some GA jobs based at Ilford and Cambridge, and again that was on the old system. I passed all the stuff anyway, got an interview for that, even got as far as the medical for that, and then they pulled the jobs. So I think there was about 4 of us that went for that one and we got pulled. I then did the tests again with, was that cross country? No, that was the guards test. I did the guards test for cross country. And I've also applied for various other positions, platform stuff and things like that. I would love to work within the railway industry. I've got lots of friends who do. It's not the easiest thing to get into these days. They've got stuff that they need to fill, they've got positions they need to fill, and they've got to have the right applicants for it. I've gone for jobs where I've been told I've been too qualified, and I've gone for jobs where I've been told that I just didn't get it. So lots of various reasons. I just sort of take it as it is, really. There's no hard and fast route to it. My advice to anybody that is going and doing it is get yourself over to the railforums.co.uk and look through their experiences. I've even got posts on there from when I've gone for job interviews and driver training assessments and all those things. It's a complicated process, but it's pretty simple, even though it's not. That sounds daft, I know, but if you've got the mindset for it, you can do it. I really struggle with concentrating for hours on something that can seem or be perceived to be pretty mind-numbing. But stick me in a train and doing this, no, it's fine. Saw the reaction test and everything that I did absolutely fine with. The dot Bourdain I failed the first time, so that's the dot test that you probably will have heard of if you've ever looked into becoming a train driver. On the new system there are several different variations of it, and I don't think it's actually used at all by anybody anymore. You do sort of, the interviews are over, the post-training day is like the selection process that I've done, both of them that I've done have been 2 days worth. First day, if you pass the first set, you get to the second stage, you get to the third stage, and then you came back the next day and we did all sorts of other things. After that, you will probably go and do either a reaction test, which is a series of buttons in the booth. You've got to hit the right ones of the patterns or what it tells you on the screen. After that tends to be an interview with the driver manager or HR. Then it's your medical, and then they basically give you a conditional job offer. I've had a conditional job offer for a driver position, and then they did not take on the drivers that they'd selected. I can't remember the reason. They give me a really rubbish excuse. But to be fair, I know what it's like. In my industry, there can be a position one day and not another, or just due to budget cuts or constraints or whatever. So it goes a bit like that. Next question comes from Bob. Do you like pacers? If you do, why do you like them? Right, do I like pacers? No. There's a caveat with that. Do I think they fulfilled a purpose? And do I think they did that well? Okay, do I think they fulfilled a purpose? Yes. Do I think they did that well? To a point. They were cheap, cheerful, and got the job done. There was routes still struggling. I mean, they were talking late 70s, early 80s. They were struggling with numbers. They were struggling with costs to maintain, rider levels, the whole lot. And the pacer came in at the right time and did a good job. Should it have been replaced already? Nah. Probably. But do they do a job and get it done? Yes. Do they do it comfortably? No. So yeah, I don't like pacers, but I can see why they exist, if that makes sense. This is another question from Luca. What is your favourite train to spot in real life and why? What is your favourite train to ride on in real life and why? So that was the first question. I'm no spotter. If I'm at a station, I will see what's around and I will love looking at the trains. Would I go specifically to a station to spot trains? No. Would I specifically go and stand by a railway track to spot trains? No. Unless I knew it was something really special. I'd have to go by myself because there's nobody really that would go with me without mercilessly ripping me to pieces. There's a pub in Huntingdon, the old mill, that's just in between Hinchinbrook and Brampton, basically. And that you can see if you sit in the garden. You've got the river beside you, and then you've got the railway line, sort of probably half a kilometre away. I could probably show you what the view's actually like from here. The view is a bit like this, I would think. It's like a field. It's actually very similar looking to this. It's probably about there. Now, if I can sit somewhere with a pint in my hand and watch 91s go past, and 365s, 317s, all that jazz, then yeah, I'll happily go and spot them. What's my favourite to spot? Different things. I quite like seeing on-track plant. So, living where I live, the things I see predominantly are units. So it's 365s, nowadays 387s, 376s, 170s, 156s. Around and about me, so I can go up to Ely, lots of 66s, 158s. So I like anything that's sort of off-region for me. That's nice to see. I enjoy seeing HSTs on the East Coast Main Line. I love seeing the 91s. But yeah, like I've spoken about in other videos as well, is spotting things in sidings. Being on a train is probably when I do most of my spotting. Looking in a siding for something cool. Looking in yards. Seeing something you wouldn't usually see. That's about it for me, really. What's going on there? Steam wise and stuff like that, rail tours, yeah, they all use Mark 1s and I'm no fan of a Mark 1 behind anything really. I used to quite like seeing the 73s when they were stored at Peterborough because they were something that was really off region. That's about it really. Robbie, thank you very much, Robbie. This is actually my nephew. What's my favourite scenario? Again, I actually thought about this question because I couldn't just pull one off the top of my head. What's my favourite scenario? That's a very good question. Answer is, I don't know. In truth, I really do not know. I've enjoyed pretty much all of Chris's scenarios. I don't think there's one really well, if I haven't done it on a video, I haven't done it, so there's not really been any disliked. I really like the Heaton Depot one. There was also a Fringe Starling scenario in Workshop that I don't think I've got installed anymore that I should really get back. That was a 180 on the Liverpool-Manchester. And that was, you went past a crashed 47. I'd love to see somebody do something like that again, but with more modern stock. I mean, that had sort of Kuju assets, and you wouldn't have got a rail freight grey 47 with a Grand Central 180. So there was bits and pieces with it that just, he used what he had available and to keep it in Workshop, but it was really awesome. The idea behind that, I like a little quirk in a scenario. delays because of something on the line or an accident or things like that. You all know my weird thing with train crashes anyway. Kev, this is Kev Butler. This is the guy that's making the Merseyrail route, so this question is sort of to be expected by him in a weird way. Have you ever been on any Merseyrail electrics of any kind, i.e. 502, 503, 507, 508? No, I haven't been up there. That's why I'm desperate for your route. How am I missing assets on the West Coast Main Line over Shap? This bridge has gone not here. Oh, I have to reinstall this route afterwards. Alternatively, let's just give me another question. What is your least favourite / worst train sim route? That's a tough call. What's my worst one? We have a couple that are probably the least played. Isle of Wight route. You see, I'd say that's my worst, but I use that a lot of the time for testing stock because it loads so bloody quickly. Probably the default Newcastle to Edinburgh, but I mean that's 10-year-old now. Routes I dislike, they're maybe not the worst. Not a great fan of the Western Main Lines. Really, I think that just, for a route in this day and age, it could be so much better. I mean, Newcastle to Edinburgh is a lot better looking than the Western Main Lines. The sort of modern day routes that have come out that I've really not liked. Anything a bit old, really. It's like I'd love Western Lines of Scotland, but I don't really drive anything from that era. And you see, West Coast Main Line Trent Valley is a beautiful, beautiful route, but it's so computer intensive, it's so memory intensive, it's so not even that processor intensive, to be fair. It's over and above, really. It's stunning, don't get me wrong, but it runs like a pig. And the stock that comes with it's just a bit bland. So it's not one of my worst, but it's definitely not up there on my top list at all. But yeah, default Newcastle to Edinburgh. Brad, why is it so hard to get into train simming when the requirements for scenarios can be a page long? For a new driver, it can be overwhelming. You are completely and utterly correct, my man. Completely and utterly correct. So, how I worked all this out and how I started doing all this. This is actually my second Steam account that I have this game on, because I lost out on one because I lost access to the email address. And Steam were a bit of a pig, so were Just Trains actually. Sales are your best friend. Sales really, really are your best friend. You've got to kind of decide on what you're going to go for. So what I tend to do is get a few, so have an idea, like if I'm going to focus on, like I focus on the East Coast Main Line to start with. So I made sure that every time something that would possibly be used on the East Coast Main Line came on sale, I'd buy it. Even if it was something I particularly wouldn't drive. Sometimes on train sim you can get stuff for like $2.99. So for the price you get one loco for, you might be buying 4, 3. Routes, when they come down to the right price, snap them up. And then focus on the stock that you'd use on that. That's the best way I can sort of say it. There are an immense amount of freeware stuff out there as well. Reskins, routes, modifications to certain trains, the odd actual bit of stock. The UKTS freeware packs are packed full of. You get a 419 luggage van. There's all sorts of things in there that are freeware. Yeah, it's tough, mate. But yeah, I recommend starting off, picking a route, finding scenarios you like the sound of, and working to the stuff towards them. I won't get into installing stuff because there's a question further down, and I will go into that a little bit further. What's your favourite locomotive to drive on Train Sim 2017, and on what route? So this is slightly different to the question up above. It said, was it slightly different? Favourite third party, wasn't it? Okay, so what is my favourite locomotive to drive on Train Sim, and what favourite route? Okay. Top 3 would be the 91. But with the Armstrong Powerhouse enhancement pack. Please note that is a must for that train. Number 2 would be the HST with the tough call Valenta enhancement pack. Just because it feels like you're driving something. It really does feel like you're driving something. I enjoy driving them. Both of those would be East Coast Mainline. And my third is this. Is the Class 92 with the Armstrong Powerhouse sound pack, which I would call an enhancement pack. It's an amazingly detailed train to drive. It pulls really nicely. Again, the physics feel right. It's nice. It's really, really nice. And for this, it would definitely be on this route, West Coast Mainline over Shap. Hence why I asked Chris to do this for this video. And he has pulled his hair out over this. It has caused him sleepless nights. It's been a bit of a pig, but hee. Sorry, that was from Ben. I did say that. Tyler, have you ever seen the Class 89 in real life? Yes, on the East Coast Mainline when it was operating with Journey R. Haven't seen it since it's been in preservation. Mr. Horsefield, so this is Chris, and he's a bugger. I think he's put about 3 or 4 questions in here, knowing him. And this plays into your question, Brad. What's your favourite .geo you've ever had to copy and paste? Chris knows I have an absolute hatred. The system for installing repaints in Train Simulator is stupid. It is absolutely stupid. Now, there are some really kind people out there who have created installers that do all this for you. But any of you that know how to install repaints and you're going into files to copy over the right geo from the right base model into the right folder, things like locomotives aren't that bad. It can be sort of a one-shot go, really. It can take a couple of seconds. You start... that was a bit stuttery there, let's not get a dump. You start taking things like the 91 reskins, the VTEC 91 reskins, where you've got, 6 or 7 geos to copy over into the right file in the right place. Any EMU, when you're copying over the right bits to the right place. Yeah, it's the same thing. And yeah, once you get used to doing it, it is simple. Don't get me wrong, it's not particularly difficult. It just bores me to death. Absolutely bores me to death, and I hate it, and I always moan at him for it. Because he always loves to pack about 1 billion repaints into his scenarios. Which is nice, I like it. It means you get the variety on the route. But it pretty much always means that I'm going to be installing something. Like, even just take this 92 pack for a start. Even just getting this installed today, well, last night, about 12:30 at night. When I installed the actual repaints, that's when I started getting issues with my 91s and other scenarios. So they were loading up in different liveries, but without the AP pack. And then some was loading with the AP pack, some weren't. This wasn't loading at all. Then some were just anything that had the AP pack installed. As soon as you go into the cab, it dumped. So it caused me to reinstall the whole folder again. And I don't just mean just delete it off Steam. I mean delete it off Steam, go into your Railworks directory, delete the Class 92 folder in the RSC file, start from scratch. So that was the Armstrong Powerhouse pack, the Armstrong Powerhouse extra stock pack, the Armstrong Powerhouse extra stock from the Scenarios pack. All of that goes in, then these reskins. I think there was about 4 or 5 folders just for this. no, probably, yeah, 5, 6 folders just for the Caledonian Sleeper 92s for the different numbers. So yes, they are a bit of a pain. But what's my favourite, Chris? As you know, it will be my Virgin class Mark 3s that still don't work properly. Reece Jones, favourite train in the world with a little smiley face, you'll know that's the 91. Tim, have you ever been arrested? I'm sure I've gone over this in one of my other videos, but those of you who haven't heard, yes, I have been arrested once before, very stupidly. Went to a club, came out, and at the back of this club was Heifers. The guy was clearing out all the old magazines and putting them in boxes out the back, told us all to take them. Me and about my brother and about tons of other people took some magazines. I think we had a Top Gear magazine, a couple of comics. Walked over to get the night bus home, torch in our face. What you got there, lads? Arrested for stealing rubbish, I kid you not. Copper said to me, well, if I left my shoes outside, would I expect them to be there in the morning? I said, not if you put them on top of your wheelie bin out the front of your house, no. So, yeah, I did get an £80 on the spot fine after being in the cells for hours and hours. That's a quick version of the story. Another question from Chris Horsfield. Favourite route on Train Sim and why? Oh, see if it ran nicely. East Coast Main Line South. Just because it's the one I know, I think. Other favourite route, it's probably going to come as a surprise to some people, but it's actually a Just Trains route, and that is the Newcastle to Edinburgh route. I really do like that. Another route that's up there as well, again it's East Coast Main Line, is the DPS East Coast Main Line. The latest version is awesome, absolutely awesome, and for basically freeware, when you can usually pick up the default, the RSC Newcastle to Edinburgh route for pence in the sale, £1.99, £2.99, and then the DP Simulations pack uses that. It's amazing for what you get. Craig, knowing your favourite attraction is the Class 91, where other than a UK route would you like to blast that bad boy? I would love to take it through the Channel Tunnel and get it on like LGV North or something like that and give it a complete and utter thrash and see how fast it really would actually go. That would probably what I'd do. Kevin. Now, Kevin, you've been around since one of the start, mate, really, so thank you very much for your comments and questions over the time that I've been doing YouTube. You really have been there pretty much since the start. Always had positive things to say, so cheers, mate. How did your liking, passion of trains come about? Yeah, no idea, if I'm really honest with you. None of my family are particularly into trains whatsoever. My dad is probably one of the most least mechanically minded people you ever meet. He was a psychologist, so it's even the screwdriver was pretty alien to him for years and years. It's not really easy. He was quite good with motorbikes and tinkering about. When we had a Renault 9, we were always doing something with it. But where did it come from? I liked machines. Always liked diggers. When I was really young, it was tractors, and I still love a good tractor today. A bit of farm machinery still does excite me. Not in that way, but in a nice way. Same as trucks. A good lorry, still really like. Anything apart from motorbikes, if I'm honest with you. Cars, yeah, I can deal with cars, like cars. But trains, it's probably from Thomas the Tank, if I'm honest. Thomas the Tank Eye for the engine. Another big passion of mine is boats. And ships. Planes. I've got 17 hours on my pilot's licence. A few more million to go before I can do anything. But yeah, flying is another thing that if I could afford, I'd do a lot more of. So yeah, where did it come from? Yeah, Thomas the Tank. Thomas the Tank. And tugs. Oliver. Oh, nice question. If you were AP, so Armstrong Powerhouse, and you were tasked with making the Class 56 enhancement pack, How would you go about doing so? What features would you include to enhance the loco? No, I haven't driven the 56 massively. I really haven't. What would I add to it? It's got quite a weird sort of like glazed, like tinted windscreen thing going on. So the glazing on the window I'd sort out for a start. And in the cab, I'd like to see a bit more personality put into it. It's a bit bland, it's a bit sort of, the textures are a bit flat. So I'd like to see those redone. The sounds are god awful anyway, but I mean, Armstrong Powerhouse will work their magic with that one. I'd like to see switches working. So yeah, the 56 is, on the base of it, not terrible already. It's hard to say, you never really know with Armstrong Powerhouse what they're going to put in, but a bit more functionality really in the cab. I'm probably, if I'm honest, more excited about the 170 pack. Now I don't think we know at the moment whether the 170 is going to be an enhancement pack or a sound pack. I'd be surprised if it was a sound pack. But I know there are issues with doing much to the 170 because it's a Thomson Interactive product, so it could just be a sound pack. But if it's an enhancement pack, what would I like to see? The different variations in the cab. I would love to see them be able to make the front different, so when you've got like the cross-country ones that have got like the bigger buffer beams, is that what you'd call them? They're like object deflectors, I suppose, that come beside the coupling. So there's the 71s, where 170s-1s-2s, I can't remember which one's which, but seeing that would be nice. Again, better cab functionality, improved textures. There isn't masses in a 170 cab, so I can't see it being the hardest thing to do, really, if they're allowed to. But that would be what I would like to see. Nathan Singer, do I have the AP Class 40? Watch this space, is my answer to that one. Darren, if you had some spare money to restore a loco, which one would it be? One mentioned above, it would be the Class 89. Would be my first port of call, I think. If I had unlimited money, it would be the ATPP. Without a doubt, the ATPP. That is just like the 89, it's a one of a kind. There is only one of them left. And the ATPP probably brought more of a technical revolution and had more of an impact on British engineering and railway engineering worldwide than the 89 did. Don't get me wrong, the 89 brought some great features in CPEX, traction controls, all that sort of stuff that we see in the 60 and in this, in the 92. But the ATPP brought us tilt technology, it brought us body hung traction motors, which we now have in the 91s. There's all sorts of really, the APC project was cool because they basically, on one hand this is what ruined it, on the other hand this is what made it special. They took aircraft engineers and made them build a train. So if I remember rightly, that had never been done before and hasn't been done since, I wouldn't think. I suppose things aren't built like that anymore, are they? So I'm guessing there probably are people that have been aircraft engineers working for like Siemens and Bombardier and all the other companies like that. But yeah, ATPP. There's a guy, I'm going up for a visit of it hopefully the end of this month, but there's a guy who runs the Facebook page and he is doing a lot of work on it. I was going to say a word there, I shouldn't say. But doing an awful lot of work, keeping it looking really nice. Just repainted the outside and everything. So there's a lot of love for the ATPP out there. And I would like to get my hands on the model that was created for Train Simulator. I would hate to see the demise of Train Sim 2017 and all that, of this version of it. Oh, there's the upsleeper there. With a 73 on the back, nice. I'd hate to see the demise of it, yeah, without seeing that ATPP in it. Ed, If you were a driver during the BR period, which region would you wish to work on and why? I'm sure you know the answer to this. It would be the BR Eastern region. And I would drive 91s. That's what I would do. That's what I'd like to do. There are places, I mean, there are other places I could think of doing, but I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as being a top-link driver on a 91 up the East Coast Main Line. I mean, things like Tinsley Depot with 47s and all that, Colville with the 58s, Toton for the 60s, Cambridge Depot even back in the day had some really cool stuff. She had 31s, 47s, some of the DPUs, and then of course there was 317s, 312s, 365s. So yeah, you know, there's quite a few places I'd like to have done it really. I think also being up at some of the Glasgow depots or the West Coast Mainline depots would have been nice as well. 87s, 86s, 90s. You had a fair bit of traction you probably signed up that way. I definitely would. It would be mainline. It probably would be mainline for me. I know that some of the smaller depots and some of the freight workers probably gave you some more interesting trips, but I quite enjoy getting out of stations and away from signals. So yeah, that was the question and answer session. That was all the questions that I had been asked. So I was really pleased with the outcome of that actually. There was nothing too personal, which I liked. Nothing too much. I don't mind if there was a question on there I didn't want to answer, I wouldn't have answered it, of course, but I think they were quite respectfully asked. So cheers guys. And I hope you learned a little something. So I'll be about 30 odd minutes out, 35 minutes out, which has worked out alright actually. For some reason the sounds don't sound quite right in my Mark IIs. I do love the interior of this. Armstrong Powerhouse never used to do passenger views, and I don't tend to use them very often, but they did a really nice job with this. Yeah, one of the reasons I like the 92 is the cab. It does do something for me. It looks comfortable. All of them that I've seen have always actually been quite clean for train cabs. Drivers tend to be quite grotty gits. Not as bad as it used to be, but there are definitely still some grotty drivers out there. I hear some pretty horrific stories. Does it look like I've got some brake on? Is the handbrake up here on this? Yeah, no, that is off. Well, I'd have some very hot brakes if that was the case. Oh, FAP. So I can never remember the procedure for this. Drop power. Or maybe that's why the brake's on, I don't know. Stick it into neutral. Press clear to look at message. Oh, Chris, I should have... I told you how to do this the other day, didn't I? Yeah, you have to acknowledge it on there. That's fine. It's just sort of sped up. Let's get nice and light out there. I suppose the further... Well, I noticed this the other day. I mean, I know we're coming up to summer solstice and everything like that, but I mean, I was out in the hot tub till... me and the missus were out there till about 10:15 the other night, and it was still what I would call light. It's pretty good going. So yeah, 1,000 subs. It's cool. And I can't wait really to start bringing you some more content. I'm looking at, well, when I can get YouTube sorted how I want it, and it going out as much as I want, and it to actually start getting a bit more steady money wise and steady viewers wise and a steady uploading schedule. I'm going to start probably at the end, well, with the kids' summer holidays. I will start doing, that'll be English kids' summer holidays, not Scottish, by the way, guys. Twitch streams are a distinct possibility. I'm going to nail the streaming side of things, and hopefully try and make a bit of a go at this. I know I'm sort of running before I'm walking, just with 1,000 subs, but I want to make a bit of a go at this. So we'll look out for Twitch. I'm not too sure about Patreon and all that yet. I'm not really here for the money. All I want to do is cover my costs, basically. I'm not going to go money grabbing. As much as it helps. And like I've said before, the money that this has made me so far has either been put into hardware or extra DLC. I really haven't had any of it to spend on much else, which I don't mind. I quite like it. It's paying for my hobby. It's not like I don't get a benefit out of it. We're just getting to the point now where Train Sim is pretty much paying for itself, which is nice. Sort of 15, 20 quid a month, 25 quid a month sometimes. Yeah, it's good. I've still actually got to do the Caledonian Sleeper. I'd like to do it before the Mark 3s go as well, and then do it again with the Mark 5s. I don't know when they're due in. Is it 2018 they're due in? I think it's 2018 they're due. It's little touches like this that I sort of like. Just being able to. I mean, GSR MR doesn't do much, but it turns on. I've just been getting to grips with the 222 GSMR from Just Trains recently. There'll be a video on that soon enough. like the detail that goes into the screen here. So this is the cooling ventilation temps. So this is the oil temperatures within the different converters and transformers. You've got converter 1 transformer and converter 2. And these red lines are the stages of where the ventilation will kick in. So when you get to those, you'll hear the fans kick in higher or faster. Here you've got dynamic brake demand on the right hand side, speed up there. ETS current at the moment is 0 amps, even though it should be ridiculously high. Battery volts and battery current, so we're charging at +3. And that's just your standard base page. It tells us what pantograph mode we're in, and we've got speed set active. This is a screen that's for just the Armstrong Powerhouse one at the minute. It's not really on the real one. So vigilance is disabled, over temperature simulation is advanced, visual alarms are disabled. Train mass is 735 tonnes with a train length of 399 metres. I think in theory, and I think I'm actually right in saying this, that the Caledonia Sleeper is the longest passenger train in the UK. It's 16 coaches, this bad boy. Do you know what I mean? The Night 2 handles it with ease. These things were built for Night Star stock, and being able to haul it out of the Channel Tunnel, be there anything happening on a pretty steep gradient. So incredibly powerful trains. And they were finally, now they're on the Serco Sleepers, they're finally being used for what they were designed for, which I love. That'd be interesting. Now this I wasn't expecting. As he's Chris in it. He's left a surprise. What did I call this last time? Chrisification of scenarios. Some Chrisified. So if I look there, you'll see the dynamic brake demand. Is that a single as well? Well, it looks like it. What will be going on here then? Looks like I've cleared up a little bit. So I don't know if I'm running ahead or what, because he said it's basically straight run all the way through. I'm not going to moan, like I said the other day, I quite like a little bit of adverse signalling. Oh no, that is red. Denied. Now there may be an issue here. Well, actually, can you hear my fans have kicked in? Some fans have kicked in. It'll be the rear static braking fans. I don't know if they're simulated at there, but that's what the loud noise is. Let's, since we're leaving the cab to find the signalman, let's stick it down. What I'm actually going to do is go and look at what's going on. Fine. Now there was mention of somebody else having this issue, that some points were set against them. But you know, I don't mind if we have to stop this here because I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I could do it as a second part. There's nothing going on further down. It must be that 66 that's come over there. Where are we anyway? Just Carnforth. Yeah. Come on, Bobby. Now this is either one of his little things he's put in, or there's an issue. I'm going to try and find out where it was that somebody got stuck on a red. I can't remember who he said it was. He said somebody did. We'll go and just, so I can come past them, come down there. It's these. These are my issue. I don't know where the signal box is for this section of the route. I don't know the West Coast Main Line that well, but if I did, I'd be phoning him and saying, "Oi." I might pull forward and see if that just puts it into place. Give it another minute or two. See if I hear back from Chris. See, I'm on a little bit of a tight time scale at the moment because I can get out here in the morning when the kids go to school and before I go to work. But that's not the time scale. The problem is the sun. Until the sheds are insulated and sorted, I cook, and the computer cooks, and then all you'll hear is fan noise. It'll sound a bit like this 92. Right, I'm going to be really naughty and pull past this signal and hope that those points change. I've had this on a couple of scenarios on the Harwich extension. Do this, you have to sort of pull right up to signals points for them to change over in front of you. But if we derail, we derail. It's a 1,000 sub special, so it doesn't matter. It's more about the Q&A than the scenario itself. Even though I would like to take it all the way up. Let's just see, by just crossing that, have we tricked them into changing? I know I could do this just by looking in the map view, but oh crap, there we go, that might be part of the reason. See if anything changes now. Jesus, a fair length. No. Let's continue pulling forward. Oh, that sounds amazing. I know it's like 5 in the morning. Cool. See if I stare at them a little bit longer, I think they might change for me. We're going to go for it. We're just going to start getting back up to line speed now, and we're going to go for it. I know I quite like to do things procedurally correct. But if we make it through, we make it through. Nah, there we go. Oh, come on, you didn't need to do that. Well, that tops off the 1,000 video, doesn't it? 1,000 subscribers, the 1,000th video, I keep saying that. The 1,000 subscriber video. That scenario is, it will be fine when I get it all sorted. But again, it's just one of those ones that never quite finishes on time. Thank you for sticking by me, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching today. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys soon.